This cardigan has a rather, shall we say, torturous journey from yarn to finished object. Well, hello and welcome to Michelle's Fiber Studio podcast. My name is Michelle and I am your host. Today is Sunday, August 18th, and this is episode number 19 of the podcast. It is a partly cloudy day. Actually, the sun was just out for a couple minutes, but it's gone behind the clouds now. It's about 70 degrees. It's a little damp. We actually had some rain this morning, and I was feeling a little cool, so I do have a sweater on today, a little lightweight cardigan. I have a bunch of things to share with you, work on my current projects. I have a new project that I started. I have project plans that I wanted to share, all kinds of things. But before we dive in, let's talk about what I'm wearing, what Marta's wearing. So again, I am wearing, you're not even gonna, I don't think I can back this up far enough. Nope. It's a cardigan, but it has this laciness to it. This is the Seasons of Love by Mary Annarella of Lyrical Knits. The yarn that I used for this is Knit Picks Luminance Lace in the Peaceful colorway. It's a 100% lace weight silk. This cardigan has a rather, shall we say, torturous journey from yarn to finished object. I initially cast it on, my notes say August of 2016. I was very excited for it. I was knitting it, holding the yarn singly, the lace weight singly, and it moved at a snail's pace. I picked away at it for 5 years or so. He picked it up here and there. I would set it down for big long chunks of time. Finally, in July of 2021, I picked it up and I was determined to finish it. But I took a good look at it, and I was about, at that point, I had split for the sleeves. I was about 1.5 inches down below the sleeves. It's worked from the top down. And I decided it was just too wispy. And if I kept going with it as it was, I was just really not gonna like it. So I had some more yarn, obviously, because I was only partway done. So I took my other yarn, wound it up, and I swatched, holding the yarn double. And in this swatch, I decided that the fabric was going to be much, much better. So I ended up ordering a whole nother batch of yarn from Knit Picks and holding one of the old yarns with one of the new yarns. So that way the dye lots or the difference in the fact that it was like 5 years apart and ordering them wouldn't matter. And I cast it on in August of that year, I think it is, or in July. And I completed it in August of 2022. It still took me the better part of a year. But I finished it almost exactly 6 years to the day. I'm 1 day different in my Ravelry notes as to when I initially cast it on and when I finally finished it. And I really like it. It's a nice weight. I wear it a lot to school because it's not super, super dressy, but dressy enough. So yeah, this is my Seasons of Love by Mary Annarella, and I love Lyrical Knits patterns. I've done quite a few of them if you check out my project page. Marta is wearing a Begonia Swirl shawl. This is by Carfield Ma. This is also a really special project. The yarn is actually my hand spun. So I was on a retreat, a spinning retreat in November of 2013, and somebody had brought some fiber that they were selling. And I got the bats for this that they had made, and I immediately fell in love with them. And that was on Friday. It was a weekend-long retreat, and I immediately started spinning that project right then and there, and finished the yarn in December of that year. I cast this on and finished it in April, and then I actually wore it. We went on a cruise with our kids. It was either the end of April or sometime in May that year, and I wore this. It's actually got beads on it, and I don't know, you probably can't quite see it in the camera's not picking it up, but so this is one that I really am very proud of and very happy with. So that is what we are wearing. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. project bag, I think today you're going to start with my Right Stuff by Bristol Ivy. I'm coming along slowly but surely, but I have plans. We're gonna get to the plans. But let me just show you my progress for now. I have completed the stripe section, I think it's stripe section 2. There we go. Oh, my yarn always gets all tangled on this when I try to take it out of my project bag. But there we are. So I got 2 repeats done, which is what I needed to do to complete the stripe section. This is now at a point where I'm going to be doing some short rows. So the next section is a whole short row section, and should move along pretty good because short rows I'm going to start on the one end and just work back and forth and adding a cluster as I go. So I should get a good chunk of that done pretty quickly. I think, other than that, I don't think I have anything new to say. I'm still not 100% in love. Oops, here, let's do it the right side out. I'm still not 100% in love with the colors, but I like them enough. And again, I think it's gonna be nice to have something a little different in my wardrobe. So I think it's okay that it's not maybe one of my favorites. Because, you know, we all tend to buy yarn and things in the colors that we really like. And so sometimes expanding the palette is a good thing. So that's where this one's at. We've talked a lot about the yarn, so I think I'm going to dispense with that and move right into my next project. How about we take out Boxy next? Boxy got a lot of attention this week. And where is my marker? So there you go, look at it. I got all of that done. I ended up at the hospital with my mom on Thursday. My stepfather had a medical procedure, and so I got just about the whole rest of the body done, and I have actually now, you can't tell, but I have actually split the front and the back. So I can't find it right now, but anyway, trust me, I've split for the front and the back. So now I'm working half and half, and this one should be moving along pretty good at this point because it'll feel a little more interesting to do when the rows are not 270 stitches long. That was such a slog, but I'm excited to have this. I will say that after I podcasted last week, I was thinking some more about this. I was thinking about how I was a little concerned that I might not have enough yarn, and I decided to check and see if Wonderland, because let's talk about the yarn. It's Wonderland Yarns. It is their Mad Hatter, which is a sport weight yarn, and this is Jub Jub Bird is the colorway. And so I was just, I guess, kind of curious to see if they still had some of this yarn that I could acquire, and they did. So I actually ordered another skein. It is still waiting to be shipped. I was about a week ago now, so I'm not quite sure what the holdup is, but that's okay. I still have a full skein. I'm on my last skein. This is the one that my niece helped me wind last weekend, but I got plenty. So I think this will keep me until the yarn shows up. But this way I don't have to worry, and I do know and I realize that it is hand-dyed, in that I'm buying these yarns like 3 years apart. My thought is to probably just use the new yarn on the sleeves, and I think it'll be okay. Even if they're slightly different, I'm okay with that because the 2 sleeves will be the same different, and it goes from kind of the wideness, because again, this is really, the Boxy will be really wide. So having like a really wide here to a narrow, it just kind of, it goes in visually. So I think that will provide enough distraction that the fact that the yarn is not identical is probably going to be okay. If I need it, maybe I will still have enough yarn. I don't know, I guess we'll see. But now I have the insurance. I can knit this exactly the way that I want to knit it, and I don't have to worry. So I thought that was worth something. So that is my Boxy. And again, I have plans for this to get this done. And yeah, that's kind of where that one's at. So let's take a look at my next project, which is Flirty by Hilary Latimer. And I got a good little chunk done on this one as well. I am now into color number 3. So my marker is way down there. So I got, if I hold it back, there we go. Now you can probably see. Got quite a bit about done on this one, and I am starting the next segment on this one as well. You might recall last week how I was a little frustrated because my yarn was coming in under the weight that they should have, and I was running out of yarn. And so I ran out of the first color yarn like 4 or 5 rows before I was supposed to, and so I launched right into the second color. Well, I ran out of the second color 1 row short of where I was supposed to switch. So I just switched it at that point and have now launched into color number 3. It's getting all scrunched up on my needles so you can't see. There we go. Yeah, you can kind of see the 3 different colors there. I still think I'm gonna be okay because the overall yardage that this calls for, I have more of. I'm just not having the amount of yardage that would have been predicted for me to follow along with the designer's intention of where to switch for a Miss Babs kit. I may let them know. Again, I think I talked about this last week. I don't think I'm gonna run out of yarn. I think I'll be able to complete the project, but it might be worth shooting them an email at the end and just saying, just FYI. And I know I'm a loose knitter, but that, in this case, I don't think my gauge matters because my yarn didn't weigh what it was supposed to weigh. If my yarn had weighed what it was supposed to weigh, I would have had enough. So I don't feel like my gauge is really even an issue in this situation. So at any rate, that's where this one's at. My last color, here's my, I've got this much left of color number 3. And this is color number 4. So yeah, I'm liking the colors though. I really am. I'm excited to have this one added to my wardrobe. Here's my tag, my Miss Babs quartet with, so the colors are Snowdrift, Paw Prints, Tropical Sunset, and Mountain Meadow. This is the Yummy 2-ply toes, and it's a 100% superwash merino. So this is a fun one. The project is fun, the knitting of it is fun. I will say that the pattern, the way it's written, sometimes I was struggling a little bit with keeping track of where I was supposed to be because you repeat these sections. See if I can get this to a point where you can see it. So you start here with like this garter stripe section, and then you get an eyelet section. Then you repeat the garter stripe and the eyelet section 2 more times. Well, the way that the pattern is written, it gives you the directions for the garter stripe, and it says to repeat that 3 times, and then repeat the eyelet, the 2-row eyelet or 4-row eyelet section 2 times, and then repeat all of that 2 more times. Like, I don't know, it was just, I kind of kept losing track. Even though it's a straightforward pattern, I kind of kept losing track. And my stitch counts were never quite right, but it is definitely one where you can kind of fudge the stitch counts and add in stitches or take them away or make it work for you. So that's my Flirty. All right, I have one more project to show you. This is a brand new project. I've got my yarn tag here, which actually comes with new yarn. So I guess by all rights, this new yarn should have gone in and on my yarn shelf segment, but I decided to just wrap it all into this new project. So I was scrolling on Instagram on Thursday, and Lion Rand had a post with this super cute little tote bag or drawstring bag. It's called the Color Wave Drawstring Bag. It's by Kathy Olivarez. I'll try to pop a picture in right here so you can see it. And it's so cute. It's a crochet project. And I immediately thought of my nieces. And as you might remember from previous episodes, I talked about how last year I knit them all cowls. So I thought this would be something fun. I'm kind of going to give this a whirl and see if I can't whip out 6 or 7 of these little drawstring bags. I actually might even do one for my nephew. He did not get a cowl last year. Didn't think he'd want a cowl. He got I did a super cute koala bear though. Oh my gosh, it came out adorable. So let me show you the yarn first. So I ended up going to Hobby Lobby, which I have here in town, to see what they would have. The project is done in cotton. I had to like do a little sleuthing to figure out what the pattern was exactly. I thought initially it might have been a Lion Brand pattern, but it wasn't. It was a pattern that somebody had done in Lion Brand yarn, and so Lion Brand was showcasing it. But at any rate, I got this yarn here. It's I Love This Cotton by Hobby Lobby. And I got 5 different colors. I only need 4, but I got 5 to play with. So there's 2 of them. This is something citrus, bright citrus. This is rosy. I have a turquoise. Buttercup, I think, is what this yellow is. And then this is like a grayish brown. It's pewter. Sorry, my dogs are going back and forth. You probably can hear them click-clacking away. So I picked this up to kind of play with this, and I went, here's my timeline. Saw the picture on Thursday, went to Hobby Lobby on Friday, and started this on a Friday night. So this is what I have. This is, the pewter is the bottom of the bag, and I am just starting to work up the sides in the pink. But I'm pretty excited. I think this is going to just be a really super cute project. Crochet works up fairly quickly, and it's just a really nice change of pace sometimes. So I'm not one to go looking intentionally for crochet projects to do as much as I enjoy crocheting, but when they come across my radar, then I love to jump on them. So this one, yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. You're probably gonna see this, you're probably gonna be sick of it actually by the time all is said and done. I figured that once I've done the first one, I guess my prototype, even though it's my initial sample, I'll know exactly how much I use of each of the colors. And then I'm gonna go back and just get a whole bunch for what I will need. I'll wait till it's on sale. Usually like every other week or every third week it goes on sale 40% off, so I will go pick it up then. It wasn't on sale when I got it on Friday, but I just wanted some colors to play with. So that is my newest project, the Color Wave Drawstring Bag by Olivarez. Okay, before I move on to my next section, I thought I would take my project plan notebook out. I talked a little bit last week about how the Pigskin Party that is hosted by Boston Jen of Downseller Studio is coming up, and it starts on September 5th, Thursday, September 5th. And in order for the projects that you do to be entered in for points, they have to be started on or after, I think in my podcast I said on or before, on or after September 5th, which means anything that is a current WIP, if I continue to work on it, while it's great that I'll get it completed for sure, it won't count as far as entering it for points. So as much as I can clear off my needles and hooks before then, I thought that would be good. So I sat down on Tuesday to just figure out what exactly that would look like. So I focused on 3 of my current WIPs. I should add, I can jump in right here, my Longline cardigan you're not seeing this week because I really didn't touch it. I don't think I touched it at all because I started working on this plan, and I didn't touch my socks either. Not to say that those won't come out this week, but my 3 focus projects are my Boxy, my Right Stuff, and my Flirty, because I think those are the 3 that I actually can reasonably hope to complete by September 5th. So the first thing I did is I listed each project. I started with my Boxy, and then I listed out all of the different parts that I needed to do. And then I listed out my Right Stuff and all the parts, and my Flirty and the parts that I needed to do. After that, I then broke down in different weeks, and I have one more page on the next page, but each week I then decided what sections of each of those projects I would need to work on in order to get them completed. Excuse me, in a reasonable amount of time or by September 5th. This is not to say that this is a hard and fast, absolutely going to happen this way, but it is something to shoot for. And there's just something about getting this down on paper that I find really, really motivating. I first saw Nitty Natty of Love and Stitches do this kind of project planning, and it really just appealed to me in the way that my brain works and the way that I think. So it's something that I've adopted too. I don't necessarily project plan every single month, but more when I have a goal or something in particular that I want to accomplish. Then my notebook will come out. So I actually had started to do that with my Boxy before I even got to this point. I think if I back up one page, yeah, I was tracking when I was just trying to do the 4 rows a day for the body. I was tracking, and so I could check off each day a box. Excuse me, still got a little bit of that tickle hanging on from a couple weeks ago. The beauty of this is I can be flexible, and if I am finding that one of my other projects, you know, if I get going on my Boxy and I'm just really charging ahead, maybe I'll shift around and I'll just keep focusing, but I will just keep checking off all of these different components as time goes on and just see how far that I can get done by the end of September. So yeah, I'm hoping that this will work and that I will get these projects done in time to start some new things for the Pigskin Party. Today's random knitting fact is a fun one. It's probably not one that's a surprise. I found this one from the website Mother Knitter, and it told me that a precursor to knitting was finger knitting, which is a simple form of knitting done using only the fingers instead of needles. Finger knitting has been practiced for centuries, especially by children and those who did not have access to needles. So finger knitting, if you're unfamiliar with the process, is where you weave the yarn around your fingers, and then you can actually, you bring your working yarn across the fingers, pull the loops over, bring it across, pull the loops over. It's kind of ends up making something like an I-cord. And it is definitely something that is used by kids even to this day. It's a great one to teach kids who are fidgety and need a little something to calm them down. I actually keep a little bucket of yarn in my office so that I can teach kids to finger knit if I feel like that's something that would be useful for them when they're kind of in a highly dysregulated state. That might be something that would kind of just slow and it's meditative. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun one, especially as I'm preparing to head back into the new school year. It's definitely one I'm going to have to keep in my back pocket. This week's day to day, I had a busy week, but when I sat down to make myself notes, it's like, oh my gosh, I know I did so much this week, but what did I do? I wasn't very good about making my notes as I went along. I know one thing was that I had 4 different rehearsals for my show that I'm in come the beginning of September. The stage is really coming together. I've got a picture that I can insert here and show you. It's gonna be so much fun, but it was a lot of rehearsals this week. I actually only have one this coming week, and then the week after that we will start to actually be doing like the whole show start to finish, and a lot of like dry runs as we lead up to the show itself. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Thursday, as I have mentioned, I spent the day at the hospital with my mom for my stepdad, who is having or had a procedure, and he actually has, I'll be with her again tomorrow, as there's a follow-up procedure. So that's definitely going to be some good knitting time, and it was a great opportunity for me to get a lot of work done on my Boxy. That's the type of thing, when you're going around and around 270 stitches, that when you've got something else to completely occupy your mind, it's good to have plain and simple knitting, both because it was something that I didn't have to concentrate on, but yeah, after a little while it can be a little mind-numbing. So I'm really excited to be at the point where that sweater should hopefully start coming together. On Friday, I went back to school for the first time, and I spent a few hours at the school kind of preparing some things. I'm going to be there actually a few days this week as well. I was preparing a document or a sign-up genius so that new families could sign up for a tour time. So hopefully I'll get a bunch of those slots filled in this week, and I can start to meet some of these new kids who didn't have an opportunity. We do a step-up day, as you may recall, for those kids in our district who are coming from the 6th grade into the 7th grade. But when we have kids who transfer over the summer into our district, then obviously they don't have that opportunity to explore or to see the inside of the building. So I'm really excited to give them this opportunity, hopefully demystify the building a little bit and make them more comfortable for the first day of school, which is just a week and a half away. This is my last full week off. As I said, I'm going to be in the building a few times, but I got the flexibility of those hours. So officially we go back on Monday the 26th. So this is my last full week of summer vacation. It is really, really crazy to think about. And then Saturday, actually Friday, the other thing, I had a couple of appointments and things I had to do after I had gone into the school. That was the day that I went down and I got the yarn at Hobby Lobby. Then I was able to come home and just kind of sit and chill. And then yesterday, I actually had the house to myself for the good chunk of the day. My husband went to spend the day at his mom's. He and his brothers were working in the backyard, doing some yard work and some cleaning, and they did a couple of dump runs. And so he was gone all day doing that. And I knew that was a project that was going to occupy the whole day, so I elected to stay home. And it was a great opportunity again to get some knitting done. I did that in between other things, and it was just a really wonderful, quiet, relaxing day. So that is what I have for this week. I thank you so very much for joining me. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knittin' Michelle. It's KNITTINMICHELLE. If you'd like, you can send me an email at michellesfiberstudio@gmail.com. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please give it a like and feel free to subscribe so you'll always know when I have new videos. I do try to have my podcasts come out on Tuesdays, so you can look for that most Tuesdays. And I think, I will have information on everything that I have talked about in the show notes down below the podcast. So with that, I hope that you have a wonderful week and happy knitting.